Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. First off, apologies for the lighting. It's becoming winter and it's getting dark whenever I come home, so lighting is going to be a little bit weird until I figure it out. So I'm going to be doing my comics roundup. I will be talking about the comics and graphic novels that I read in September and October. So first off, I have read basically everything of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run that is up on Marvel Unlimited, which is basically issues 1 through 20, I believe, that is currently up. And I really enjoyed this, like even more than I thought I was going to. Everyone talks about how great this series is, and I was still really skeptical about it because I'm not a huge Hawkeye person, because he seems just so like average Joey that his storyline just never really interested me very much. But this was really well done. It's very clever, very funny in ways that I wasn't expecting it to be funny, and I think just the way that the panels were laid out were really well done. The art style took me a little bit to get used to because it feels very like sketch type art, and it does change artists in the middle of the run, which was slightly jarring for me who wasn't paying attention to who the artist was until it changed, and I was like, oh, they aren't always the same in this entire run. And I know that's a thing that happens, but because I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't ready for it. I definitely recommend picking up this series, whether you read it on your Marvel Unlimited app or if you check out the graphic novels or the trades that combine the issues together. One thing that is a little bit different with the trades is that the first 2 volumes just follow the issues chronologically, but then the last 2 break it up so that volume 3 is actually all about Kate Bishop's storyline, while volume 4 will be following Clint during the exact same timeline that volume 3 takes place, which I think is actually a really smart idea, because as I was reading them issue to issue, it would kind of jump back and forth and be like a bunch of Clint issues and then there would be a couple Kate issues. And while I understood that idea and it kind of works, I feel like it makes more sense to see all of the Kate issues together and all the Clint issues together, and then seeing how they combine in the end. I still haven't read all of the issues that are out for this run because, again, Marvel Unlimited is a little bit behind, and so you have to wait about 6 months for the new issues to get added to the app, but I will be reading them as soon as they are all out, and I am very much enjoying this run, and I'm very much looking forward to the other things that Matt Fraction has done. I haven't read Sex Criminals yet, and I plan on trying that out as soon as I can. I also read the first 3 issues of She-Hulk on Marvel Unlimited. I decided to check that out because the trade of the first, I believe, 5 issues came out earlier in October, and so I was like, oh, I'll just check out the first couple issues on the Marvel Unlimited app to see if I enjoy it, and if I like it, I'll pick up the trade. And I didn't like it enough to pick up the trade individually. While it is fun and it is interesting, it's very different. It seems like more of a lawyer drama than it does like a superhero story, which is some people's jam, but it just wasn't my jam, or at least not enough to actually purchase the trade in and of itself. Because I have access to the Marvel Unlimited app, it's gonna take a lot more for me to buy the trades separately. I also read Saga volumes 1 and 2, and I actually read this during the Dewey 24-hour readathon, which some of you guys may have seen me talking about on Twitter or one of my other videos. I wasn't planning on reading Saga, but then Jenny from Adultish Books said she was going to be reading Saga, so I decided to pick it up as well. I read Saga Volume 1 and I thought it was okay, and I'm really glad that I had Volume 2 on hand to start that right away, because Volume 2 is much stronger and gets much more interesting, and I've heard that the story just gets more interesting as it goes along, so I'm really excited to pick up Volume 3 hopefully sometime in November, because I think Volume 4 comes out in December. But if I didn't have Volume 2 available right away, I don't know if I would say I would like it that much. Like, I gave Saga Volume 1 only 3 stars. Not only 3 stars is good, but I gave Volume 2 4 stars, and part of me also wonders if that had to do with the hype, but I have a feeling that I'm not going to enjoy Saga as much as everyone else on BookTube seems to like Saga, because I'm not really into science fiction-y type things, and it takes a lot more for me to like science fiction storylines. I am enjoying it, and I will be picking up the trades, but I'm not quite as obsessed as everyone else is. I also ended up reading Miss Marvel Volume 1, which is the first 5 issues of the Miss Marvel series, and oh my gosh, I love it. I want everyone to read this. I think it's such a great storyline. It does such a good job of introducing a brand new character into this universe, as well as just covering the issues that come with being the daughter of an immigrant. Obviously I can relate to that quite a bit. I've only read volume 1 even though I have issues 6 through 9 sitting here, but I just haven't had the time to really sit down and read them, and I want to really devote my attention to them. I don't want to rush through them. Like, I was originally planning on like just marathoning through the issues, but once I read volume 1 I was like, you know what, I want to make sure I have time and can concentrate on those things, so I'll be reading those eventually, and I have a very strong feeling I will love it. I also picked up Gotham Academy #1, which has been very highly hyped, at least in the comic book people that I follow on Twitter and things like that, and I liked it. I'm very intrigued by the storyline, and it's really hard for me to judge comic books based on only one issue, and I'm very excited to see what they do in the follow-up issues, but it's a very interesting setup. I don't know necessarily if this is going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like if you like things that are slightly darker but are more teen focused, then you'll definitely like this. But I'm definitely intrigued by this. The main character has a very interesting perspective on Batman, which I'm very excited to find out more about, but it's definitely one that is on my radar, and I will be picking up the next issue when it comes out. I also picked up Batgirl #35, which is this new story arc that is starting for Batgirl. I didn't read all of the first 34 issues of Batgirl. I read the first couple and then I sort of just fell off the wagon, as happens sometimes with comic books, and I never really caught up because I wasn't hearing like the greatest things about that run of Batgirl with Gail Simone. Not so much that it was bad, but just that it was really dark and angsty, and I wasn't really in the mood for that, so I just never caught up. And I always meant to, but it just didn't happen. I think that this is a very interesting arc to be starting with for the new Batgirl. I like it, and I'm again intrigued just to see where it goes. I've seen a lot of people complaining that this doesn't feel like the old arc, like it feels very disjointed, and I can't necessarily speak to that since I didn't read that entire arc, but I think that if you are interested in Batgirl or the Batman universe and you're looking for a new place to jump in, this would be the perfect time to jump into Batgirl. It definitely feels a lot lighter and a lot more fun than any of the other DC comics that seem to be coming out lately. And of course I'm still reading The Wicked and the Divine. For those of you guys who said in my last video that you're waiting for the trade, I believe the first trade is coming out in November, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I highly recommend this series. Again, it is mature. There's very graphic things in this series, so if you're not, you know, an adult, be wary of those things. But I'm totally into this storyline, and I highly recommend either checking out the trade at your local comic book store or going to your library and checking it out that way. And also, of course, I'm still reading Lumberjanes. The end of the arc is coming very soon, and there's a very big cliffhanger that happened in this very last issue, and I was just like, holy cow. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm very excited. I'm very much enjoying this, and I'm glad that this is an ongoing series. I've also been reading the Amazing X-Men Joss Whedon run on the Marvel Unlimited app. I think I'm about 7 issues in, maybe 9. I probably should have checked that before I made this video, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a very good run if you haven't read X-Men in a while, because it has a lot of familiar characters in it, and if you have just sort of like a vague understanding of the X-Men universe, this is a good place to read. I'm very excited to just see where this storyline goes, because again, I'm just at like the very beginning of the story arc, so I don't have a lot of information, but it's been good so far and I like it, and I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, those are all the comics that I've been reading over the past 2 months. Feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys are reading, anything that I should be checking out or anything I should keep on my radar. I did look at all of the recommendations that you guys left me on my last video, and I sort of have them all in like a spreadsheet to check out, but because I haven't been reading comics quite as heavily this month, I'm a little bit behind on things, and I was hoping to be farther along, but that's okay, it happens. I'm not like super anxious to read through every single comic book ever. I like sort of taking my time with it and just really enjoying it. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.